going in. It looks like he doesn't have any mana leaks.
No mana leaks.
No mana leaks. Okay, so here we are. So we're going in. So David Thomas on your right, playing the Indubitable Menace Solar Flare, deck we've seen quite a bit of. And on your left, John Schwandt playing blue-white tokens. Blue-white humans, really, right?
Right. It's really blue-white humans. The only token-making cards he really has are Doom Traveler, and I suppose Geist of St. Traft makes a token, and
kind of.
Hero Bladehold sort of makes tokens as well.
And Moorland Haunt, of course. Cannot forget
that
ubiquitous land that is just doing so much damage.
Right. Most people say it's the best blue card in the deck, regardless of any others.
Yeah, exactly.
So just to give you a quick rundown of the lists here, David Thomas on your right playing Solar Flare, Singleton Batterskull, Wormcoil Engine, 2 Phantasmal Image, 2 Snapcaster. Interesting to know, only 2. A card that most people were saying is one of the best cards in the format, only 2 of here. 3 Sun Titan, 2 O-Ring, 2 Doomblade, 4 Forbidden Alchemy, 1 Go for the Throat, 4 Mana Leak, 3 Think Twice, Singleton Elesh Norn, 2 Liliana of the Veil, a Day of Judgment, 3 Despise, 2 Unburial Rites, and then he rounds it out with some basics, some non-basics, including 2 Ghost Quarter.
2
Ghost Quarter. Not going to be too big in this matchup. But
they count Moorland Haunt, which is certainly a big deal.
Yeah. And then in the blue-white token deck, to run that one down for you, 1 Phyrexian Metamorph, 4 ofs, a Quarter Paladin, Champion of the Parish, Doomed Traveler, Grand Abolisher, Mirran Crusader, 3 Hero of Bladehold for his creatures. His enchantments are 3 Angelic Destiny, 4 Honor of the Pure, 4 Oblivion Ring, 2 Geist of St. Traft, and then of course the 4 Moorland Haunt.
Is that Silverchase Fox hiding out in the sideboard?
It is.
Silverchase Fox, getting a little foxy.
Almost reminiscent of a Kami of Ancient Law.
Yeah, because this one costs 2 to activate. Yeah. Or is it 2 or 1? It's 2,
I
right?
believe it's 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 to activate.
2 to activate. But it exiles it.
Oh, it does exile it, just in case.
Right.
For all those pesky enchantments that come back. I guess if you're like dead weighting against Solar Flare and they're like Sun Titan it back.
Yeah.
It could happen. It's not unreasonable. It is in this top 8, though. There are no dead weights to go around.
Nope. Interesting to note, though, the 3 Angelic Destinies in the blue-white token deck, rather the blue-white human deck, those are going to prove pretty good because the Solar Flare deck in the main deck only has 2 Doomblade and 1 Go for the Throw.
And 2 Oblivion Rings.
2 Oblivion Rings, right. But for instant speed, ways to interact with it,
right.
2 Doomblade, 1 Go for the Throw. So if he sticks that on something like a Mirran Crusader, that could be all she wrote.
Yeah, this deck has such power because it has 6 lethal 3-drops. I mean, Mirran Crusader and Geist, if you drop Angelic Destiny on either of those, it's so hard to climb back into the game.
Right. Minimum 12 damage on the Crusader, minimum 10 damage on the Geist. So that's just half your life total gone.
All right, and here we are jumping into it. Let's see. Looks like the players are content. David Thomas leads us off, playing Solar Flare, plays a Plains and passes. David's match went way into overtime yesterday. There's a Doom Traveler. David mulliganed down to 6 this game. David was playing an hour and a half in his quarterfinals match. Took quite a while, but took down a very narrow match against Wolf Run Ramp on the back of Elesh Norn.
That was an intense match. You walk over and there were about 12 lands in play on each side or so it went very long.
John serves in with his Doomed Traveler and just ships. No turn 2 play for John Schwandt.
Wow. You have to figure that his hand's full of a lot of high end here. But David Thomas also stumbling a little bit. No blue mana to play his Alchemies and Think Twices.
Yep. So both players a little under pressure on their own mana bases, or on their own draws, rather.
Yep.
David on his mana base, John on not having too much. But there's a Mirran Crusader.
And that's going to be big.
Now, if David has a Wrath here, that's pretty good for him, but he has to deal with that Mirran Crusader. Okay, O-Ring on the Crusader. The Crusaders just deal so much damage, and none of the black removal can hit it, which is big.
Exactly. O-Ring and Day of Judgment are really his only reasonable ways of interacting with it. And I suppose Liliana of the Veil.
There's another Mirran Crusader,
wow.
the promo buy a box Mirran Crusader. Yep. You don't see that one all the time. Saw a lot more of those when the card came out and people couldn't find the other copies.
You did, and David has the Wrath. Oh, and his second O-Ring.
Second, but still no land.
Second of 2.
David does have Liliana of the Veil in his hand, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
So that could deal with some of what John Schwandt's got going on, although as long as Doom Traveler's out, it's not going to be doing too much.
Now, looking a little foolish in the face of Doom Traveler, but what David Thomas would really like right now is just another land.
There's a Doom Traveler, followed by Grand Abolisher. And let's see, they're pretty sure there's Angelic Destiny hiding out in John's hand.
I think that's what it is.
And with Grand Abolisher in play, David absolutely cannot interact on John's turn. So if John gets to untap, it's time to see some Destiny.
Ooh, Dark Slick Shore is not the land David Thomas was looking for.
And David is gripping mana leaks in his hand, too, that are completely dead because of the Abolisher.
And this game is going very well for John Schwandt.
And think it's time to pull out the Destiny here. I just can't imagine why you want to do anything else.
Right.
You can't interact. It'll come back to your hand.
Especially putting on something like a low-impact creature like a Doom Traveler. I mean, if David kills that, it's a win-win either way.
Yep, you can just replay it.
Right.
Oh, that doesn't go for it. I mean, if David hadn't played anything really relevant yet besides those blue rings, I would feel like he probably has a Wrath in his hand.
Yeah, I would think so, but...
There's a Hero of Bladehold. He's just walking right into the Wrath.
Yeah, not sure I like that play.
I would have rather Destinied there, and then after you force David to clear the board, you just...
Destiny up again.
Destiny up again, and if you can deal with that, then you just drop Hero, and you have a one-man army. But Schwandt chooses to go a different route.
And I don't see David doing anything but pulling the trigger on the day here.
Which he does.
There it is.
2 tokens come out for John Schwandt. Drew Levin said Doom Traveler is insane for him all day long yesterday, and Linakius 1-1 is doing some good work.
Yeah, very, very good Day of Judgment insurance, as we see here. And now we might see this Destiny. There it is.
Yep, time for some Destiny.
And that is half of David's life total. 6 damage.
Crunch. Yeah, David down to 6 life. Angelic Destiny, mythic rare from M12, not just for drafts anymore. +4/+4 turns it into an angel. Gives it flying.
And when the creature dies, you get the Destiny back to your hand.
Right. And there's the Liana, which will take care of a Doom Traveler token. The Spirit from the Doom Traveler.
Yep.
There's Honor the Pure sitting in John Schwann's hand.
And that should do it, because he has exactly 3 mana to pay for that mana leak.
Honor the Pure.
And there's game 1.
And David extends the hand. I always thought that was kind of strange to extend the hand in the first game.
You know, the only times when I do it are when I think I've lost the match, but it's really only game 1. I've done it a few times.
I've definitely been in that situation. Or times my opponent's done it, and I'm like, this is really weird, and then just like gets up and walks away.
Right. You're like, hold on.
I'm like, sorry, like the match isn't done.
I know it felt really bad, and you really want to leave, but not
or
quite
if it's
yet.
like a really good game 1, like half an hour
Right.
intense game 1, might as well be the match. In the meantime, though, we've got 6 months of StarCityGames.com premium to give away. The way this works is we're going to ask you guys a question, and if you tell us the answer to the question correctly on Twitter, we'll pick one person out of everyone who answers randomly, and that person will win 6 months of free premium. You can read all the great articles on Star City Premium, including Jerry TV, the brand new
Jerry
feature.
TV,
AJTV, all kinds of great stuff on there. So there's a hashtag, SCG Premium. You see it down there in the bottom of your screen. Make sure to put that in your tweet somewhere. It's very important.
Try and include SCGKC, too, so anyone searching for it can check that out.
SCGKC, send it, you can put it at SCG Live if you want, but the only part you absolutely must have is SCG Premium. Here's your question for 6 months of StarCityGames.com Premium. One player in the semifinals conceded and had to leave. Who was that player, and what archetype were they playing? Tell us on Twitter, and you could win your chance at 6 months of StarCityGames.com Premium. It was Zach's horse to win the tournament.
It was.
And,
it was. If that's a hint for you guys, let us know. Fortunately, had to leave today, but
yeah. So it's in the meantime, though, we do have this match here. We saw John Schwandt off to a quick 1-0 start.
Yeah, very easy for him. Pretty much all it took was a little stumbling by David Thomas, and
yeah, Mrs. Landrar
that was it.
Even had the O-rings, the first 2 O-rings for both those Mirror Crusaders.
And really, those are one of his only answers to that Mirror Crusader in the deck, and it still didn't even matter.
Yeah, I'm still not a big fan of that Hero Bladehold play, but other than that, I thought he played pretty well that game.
Definitely.
Did what he could do as Blue-White Tokens, Blue-White Humans player. Kind of missed my number there.
Yeah. So let's look at the sideboarding here a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
David Thomas, his sideboard, running down another O-Ring, 2 Celestial Purge, 2 Dissipate, 1 Divine Offering, 2 Flash Freeze, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Day of Judgment, and 3 Timely Reinforcements. What do you think we're going to see here, Gavin?
Well, we're definitely going to see the 2 days and the Oblivion Ring. I think that's pretty much a no-brainer. And I think the Timely Reinforcements will probably come in too. It's usually for the beatdown decks. Sometimes you don't want it against decks like Tempered Steel when they're threatening a lot of damage over and over.
Right.
And against this, there are definitely draws where they can play like Angelic Destiny and your enforcements just can't interact. But I think overall it's probably going to be a good choice to bring in here.
Right. There are also draws where you're going to Day of Judgment all their creatures away, and their Moorland Haunts are going to be pecking away at you, and the Timely will buy you a lot of time.
Yeah, well, they can't block the tokens. You
gain
the 6 life.
You do gain the 6 life. Put a little pressure on them, too.
Yep.
And in terms of what he's taking out, I have to imagine he's probably going to take out these Unburial Rights.
Yeah, they do not seem like his plan at all. I mean, maybe if you get a perfect draw, you can get lucky in the Unburial Rights, Elish Norn or something.
Sure.
But overall, I'm just not impressed.
Definitely not. What are the other cuts?
Let's see. He wants to keep all of his removal spells. Probably Batterskull and Wormcoil Engine stay in. I think maybe he'll cut some of his top end. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Sun Titan come out.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he might also be able to cut 1 or 2 draw spells to a reasonably good effect, because he might not have time to leverage the Forbidden Alchemy to think twice.
I think on the draw, taking out Forbidden Alchemy is definitely reasonable. On the play, though, it does set up some draws, although without Unburial Rites might not be quite as good as it could be otherwise.
Definitely.
Seems like his deck is pretty well set up, although even though this is a bad matchup for him, unfortunately. It's pretty well set up as well as it could be.
Definitely is. And then the blue-white token deck, his sideboard, Silver Chase Fox, 3 of those, 3 Negate, 2 Surgical Extraction, a 3rd Geist, 3 Revoke Existence, 3 Timely Reinforcements.
Yeah, so we're going to see the 3 Negates and the Geist here. I'm pretty sure those are the 4 cards you want to bring in.
Right. I think the main deck is set up pretty well to fight him.
Yep, I agree.
Cards that might come out.
I think the 1 Phyrexian Metamorph is kind of strange.
Right, that doesn't do a heck of a lot versus Solar Flare.
I mean, it does literally their Elish Norn, gets their Sun Titans, you can rebuy something, but
it does.
Overall it just seems pretty poor.
Right, if you're trying to fight Solar Flare on that vector, you're probably not going to win that game. And then the other cards perhaps to take out, maybe some of his enchantments. 4 Oblivion Ring does seem like quite a few.
That is a lot of Oblivion Rings. Granted, it can hit David's Oblivion Rings.
It can. That's definitely a big interaction, and as John saw, it was one of his only answers to the Mirren Crusader.
Yeah. Well, let's see. It looks like players are taking their opening hands. Let's see if they're stable here. Looks like both players are keeping.
Yep. Seems
or
like
maybe David Thomas is still in the tank here. John Schwandt is giving that look like, make up your mind already.
Yep. Can't wait to get into the finals, he's thinking.
He's like, yeah, exactly. And so John Schwandt quickly keeps after David mulligans. So David going to 6 cards, certainly not what he wants to be doing here.
No, down a game, going to 6. His back is definitely up against the wall, but he does have the play. And even on 6 cards, that's something he wants.
Yeah, although, yeah, if he goes down to 5, being on the draw could be good, just to pick up the extra card. But yeah, David in a rough spot, but certainly not out of it yet.
Definitely. Luckily, in a deck with Think Twices and Forbidden Alchemies, he can catch up on cards very easily. He just needs the right cards.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't feel like you should be boarding any of those out on the play, but on the draw, I would definitely cut some Forbidden Alchemies. Maybe you can shave 1 on the play. I'd probably take out at least 2 on the draw.
Yeah, I agree.
Snapcaster Mage seems pretty good for rebuying your removal spells.
Definitely. I mean, he only has 3 straight-up removal spells, 2 Doomblades, 1 Go for the Throat, so he has to make those count, and Snapcaster sort of lets him have 5 of those.
And it lets him do things like rebuy his days. And
right.
He only has 1 day in his main deck, so he drew it in that first game.
He does.
Might have been why he kept that hand.
But 3 days after sideboarding means John Schwandt is going to have to be pretty careful.
I guess in retrospect, John probably played out that hero because he knows that there's only 1 day in David's deck. I didn't realize that going here, but all these players I've seen their other players' deck lists, obviously they've had all night to playtest if they wanted to.
Right.
I imagine they probably went home and just went to sleep.
Certainly what I did.
All right, here we go. David leads off with Dark Slick Shores.
And John Schwandt draws his card, plays a beautiful Unglued Plains, and plays Champion of the Parish.
And that is a card we've certainly seen go up in value this weekend, too.
Oh, yeah.
Just put it down and just grow so quickly. It's like Isamaru quickly becomes
Wild
Nakatl,
yeah.
and becomes insanity. All right, Honor of the Pure, so no human on turn 2, and David Thomas is just Doomblades away the champion, so no damage is going to be taken there.
Nope. No mana leaks in David Thomas's hand, but I did see an Unburial Rites, so he decided to keep those in. We'll see if he can make use of them.
I wouldn't be surprised if David boarded out a couple of his mana leaks.
Yeah.
On the draw, I would definitely board them out. On the play, it might shave 1 or 2. You still want to be able to hit his top end, it's like Angelic Destiny and Hero of Bladehold, though.
Definitely.
John just plays another Honor of the Pure, so no creatures to back that up. That's always kind of rough when you get the enchantment draw.
It is, maybe setting it up, but David Thomas quickly slams down a Batterskull with his Forbidden Alchemy. The 1 of Batterskull, lifelink is going to probably prove to be very good against the blue-white token deck, the blue-white human deck. And Timely Reinforcements drawn, and David ships the turn.
When Timely Reinforcements doesn't... Surgical Extraction drawn by John there. When Timely Reinforcements doesn't do anything against a token deck, you know you're probably doing all right.
Right.
Yeah, Surgical Extraction, that's really an interesting one.
It is. I see a Surgical Extraction and an Oblivion Ring in John's hand, so it looks like he sided into more spells than I would have thought.
Yeah, I think you really want to go into the control deck. I think this is the trap I've actually seen happen all year on camera. The beatdown decks will bring in a ton of reactive cards, and they'll just make themselves so slow despite having so many reactive cards that the control decks can beat them. We saw it happen all the time against Cobblade. Decks like Naya would bring in all these answers to swords and just ways to disrupt, and then they just wouldn't have any way to fight them with actually winning the game with their creatures.
Definitely. A lot of people really fell into that trap against Splinter Twin as well. You know, they bring in combusts and this and that and all these cards just to kill the Splinter Twin. Well, sometimes when you draw a lot of cards, you'll win anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So now I think John will probably. Oh, I was gonna say he might. Oh, it might be during his upkeep, or after he draws.
Chooses not to extract.
I guess. I mean, I guess that's 2. He can't flashback it for a while. Maybe you want to prevent Unbarrel Rights from going off. But all right, 3 mana. There's a Mirran Crusader. Quickly gets mana leaked by David Thomas.
Probably a good move.
Yeah, you do not want that 4/4 Mirran Crusader crunching in.
And John either needs creatures here or perhaps another land.
Surgical Extraction on Mana Leak.
Wow.
Interesting. I would have at least done that during David's draw steps. You could have the chance of hitting another Mana Leak.
Definitely. If he Mana Leaks your extraction, that's perfectly fine.
So it looks like he sees a hand of Timely Reinforcements, Batterskull, Unbarrel Rights, and
Wurmcoil Engine.
Yep.
So if David hits a few lands in a row, John will be in very rough shape.
I'm not a big fan of that Surgical Extraction right there.
No, me neither. I think it's an interesting choice. I think playing around a third or a second, perhaps third Mana Leak, when he might have boarded some of them out, is a little risky. But John might have a lot of 4-drops in hand, might want those to resolve very badly.
Yeah, I mean, resolving those 4-drops is important. It's just, you at least want to do it next turn to give him another chance of drawing a dead card.
Right. Most definitely.
But that's what John's opted to do, looking through David Thomas's post-board configuration.
We'll see if he even finds any more Mana Leaks in here. I don't see any.
Oh man, if that's the one Mana Leak, John. Okay, 2 Mana Leaks.
And it was on the top of his deck.
He did board. Yeah, so he would have, if he had let David go, he would have actually stripped a card out of David's hand.
Exactly.
Which is a big deal. Just negated an entire draw step.
Yeah, I mean, especially with him with a life-linking 5-drop and a life-linking 6-drop, that could be huge for David there.
Now, yeah, he's got no chance to draw a land. But those get exiled, and like I said, I don't think the Extraction Mana Leak is even that good because I would have expected David to board some out, which he did.
Yeah, he boarded 2 out on the draw. We'll see how many he has on the play. 2 on the draw.
Yeah.
So right now we're in John Schwandt's main phase. He just Surgical Extracted Mana Leak, about to ship the turn to David Thomas, who desperately wants to draw a land for his Batterskull. And an Oblivion Ring drawn.
Not quite what he was going for there.
Not bad. He's going to be a bit. He will be able to stay alive for a long time.
And I think that was another spell drawn by John Schwandt, and just nothing going on. Passes back to David Thomas. Man, he's got so many cards in his hand. I think I see 2 Oblivion Rings in there.
I think there's another Surgical Extraction as well.
Jeez. Champion Doom Traveler down.
And
now that's certainly pretty good under Honor of the Pure.
it is. It does its best Wild Nakatl impersonation. One-ups it a little bit.
Yeah, when it dies, rebuy.
And it looks like David's going to Oblivion Ring this.
Good way to deal with it.
Yeah. Oh, Timely. Okay.
Oh, Timely Reinforcements. Okay.
I believe he's at more life than his opponent.
Right, so he's just getting tokens.
Interesting.
Guess you can shump for 3 turns that way?
Yep. And there's a Grand Abolisher drawn by John.
Would you have taken a hit so you could gain a life off that too? Or is that just too risky? You're just wasting a turn?
I probably would have dropped the Batterskull there.
Yeah, I mean, I would have played the Batterskull too. Although maybe he's worried about... I guess John doesn't have Mana Leak, so...
No, maybe Oblivion Ring he's worried about.
I mean, I'm sure he knows John's hand is full of reactive cards.
Right.
But David has his own Oblivion Ring, right? So he could ring back. Okay, so David trades all 3 tokens for Doom Traveler.
Wow. Not the play I would have made, but maybe he has plans for that Spirit token. He might want to either Doomblade that or Oblivion Ring that.
Go big.
Yep. But John having so many cards in hand, I think David should be content to play a little longer game here, maximizing his card economy. But we will see.
Doomblades down the Spirit token, main phase, because of that a Grand Abolisher.
Yep. I believe that was in response.
Or in response, rather. Yeah. In a main phase.
Yeah, in a main phase. And there's another land.
All right, this one doesn't come into play untapped, so we have to wait a turn on the Wurmcoil Engine. And we're going to go for Batterskull right here, which I'm sure John will O-ring on his turn.
I'm sure he will, especially if he has 2. One in reserve for any 6-drop that David might have.
Weird 6-drops, like Wurmcoil Engine. Alright, yeah, Oblivion Ring right here on the Batterskull. Not the token.
Not the token.
Nice try.
And John gets in for 4, dropping David to 16, the first damage he's dealt him.
Yeah, this is pretty late in the game for the first damage to be dealt.
He's not out of it yet, though. His hand is chock full of goodies there. And David, I mean, if John has another Oblivion Ring for that Worm Coil, he does not have a heck of a lot. Just 2 Forbidden Alchemies in the graveyard.
Which, if John does have a second Surgical Extraction like you thought he might, he'd be able
does.
to curtail. If he doesn't, then that makes me like his play of Surgical Extraction on Mana Leak even less.
Oh, wow, he didn't play his 7th land there.
Interesting. Keeping it in hand. Oh, maybe to use it with Liliana later. I'm not sure. All right, let's see what he goes for here.
And
he has to see his graveyard. That's kind of a tell.
just a little bit, but it's all right. It looks like he's thinking about using this extraction right now.
Wonder if he didn't play 7th land, so he would have a lower chance of being extracted. I'm not exactly sure what went on there.
We'll see. And there's an Angelic Destiny.
Angelic Destiny, okay.
Grand Abolisher, so no Oblivion Ring forthcoming from John.
Now you can serve in for 2 more than the Worm Coil. Yeah, so that's what he does. Because of Honor of the Pure, the double Honor of the Pure, that Grand Abolisher gets in for 8. We're going to drop David Thomas to 8 life, but the Worm Coil will make up 6 of that.
Right.
There is an O-Ring in John's hand. He chose not to play it.
Wow. That surprises me. Maybe he wanted to land that Angelic Destiny and start the beats.
I mean, you'd land the Destiny now, and then I guess you have the ability to O-Ring next turn.
Either way, David can't do anything on John's turn because of that Grand Abolisher, so it's just a question of which does more damage.
Right, so he'd have to Forbidden Alchemy right now if he wants to.
Right. Oh, he just drew an Oblivion Ring, I believe.
Oh, my.
That would be a very good draw, the perfect answer to Angelic Destiny.
Let's see what David chooses to do. David deciding, do I want a Forbidden Alchemy? Do I want an O-Ring? Am I going to need to O-Ring his O-Ring? If I play O-Ring, do I get rid of Grand Abolisher? Do I get back my Batterskull?
David has a lot of lines of play available
Taps
to him.
5 for Unburial Rites.
Really? I'm not sure what creature's in his graveyard right now.
Phantasmal Image, copying Worm Coil.
Wow.
Alright, there have been worse plays.
That
seems pretty good.
That is 12 power of Lifelink and Death Touch on the board, and John at 12 life.
Yeah, so John's definitely going to have to Oblivion Ring the Worm Coil engine. Worth noting that you can't Oblivion Ring the Phantasmal Image profitably because it will split into 2 worms.
It will. And he'll be able to flash back the Unburial Rites.
Indeed. Yeah, John Schwandt, kind of a dilemma here. Alright, O-Ring on Worm Coil engine, as expected.
Yep. That goes away into the exile.
You know, imagine if he had just O-Ring that last turn and he couldn't Phantasmal Image it either.
He'd be in far better shape. As it is, I believe he's losing this race. And yet he says go against the Worm Coil.
Yep, hoping for his Grand Abolisher with the Angelic Destiny to hold off the Worm Coil engine.
Ooh, and a go for the throat drawn for David Thomas.
Whew.
He has more than enough removal to take care of that Grand Abolisher.
Now, the Grand Abolisher does have first strike because of the Destiny, but with that go for the throat out of the way, and the Worm Coil engine gets to chop on in.
And Destiny goes back to the hand, but no creature to put it on.
And this attack from Phantasmal Image will half John Schwann's life total, and bring David Thomas back up to a rousing 20 life.
It will. Very safe 20 life.
And flashbacks Forbidden, or Unburial Rites rather. Get back Phantasmal Image, gonna copy Phantasmal Image, 2 Worm Coil engines.
Probably reading his Phantasmal Image right now to make sure it doesn't die, and I don't believe it will.
It will not die. He also might want to make sure that if you copy a clone, you don't get a base clone.
Right.
You get a Worm Coil engine or whatever.
Which he will.
Oh, Surgical Extraction in response. Okay. So he did have the other extraction, he just must have opted not to use it.
Interesting, especially with 2 Phantasmal Images in the graveyard.
Yeah, there's no way he had that last turn, right? If David Thomas flashback to Burial Rites on Phantasmal Image.
I thought I saw it in his hand the whole game, but maybe not. I must have seen it wrong because that would be a crazy play.
I just can't imagine. I mean, like, yes, you can have a Worm Coil engine. Weird. All right.
So at least the Surgical Extractions will provide John with a little information about how David sideboarded if this game does go to a Game 3.
Which seems very likely.
Definitely.
I would imagine we'll see Game 3 here pretty soon.
John would have to pull something out of his magic hat here to win this game.
And serves in.
So sort of a wasted turn for David Thomas with the Unburial Rites, but he still has the Worm Coil engine.
Yeah, he still has a pretty definitive advantage here.
So maintaining parity is definitely good for him.
Plays another land, and passes with John just at 4 life.
Now, John will be able to buy a lot of time with that Moorland Haunt, but with David's life total soaring to 26, 32, and beyond, it's going to be very hard for him to win.
I don't know how he's going to be able to get back in the game after that. If he has a 1-drop here, he could play Angelic Destiny on it. Angelic Destiny targeting your Phantasmal Image. You get 2 3/3s.
Wow. So
it doesn't even matter. I mean,
that's going to be the game.
The image goes to the graveyard, or the Destiny goes to the graveyard. That's what David is explaining, but he gets 2 3/3s, and that's lethal anyway.
Right.
So.
And now they're just discussing it. And there we are.
And the OMTG taps life and death tokens coming out for a brief cameo appearance. Joey and Big Head Joe got to get that action.
Yep.
And then we're off to a 3rd game. Now, I think John is really favored here on the play in Game 3, but I think he has to go back to his sideboard. He just cannot afford to clunk his deck up with so many reactive cards.
Definitely. I mean, as we saw that game, even if he had 1 creature at the beginning there, it would have brought David Thomas very low. As it is, he got him to 8, so maybe 1 creature on turn 1 or turn 2 could have dealt that 8 damage.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely have to have a... I mean, he did have the Champion of the Parish, but you absolutely have to have just a fast start. I mean, you can't just afford to sit back on all these reactive cards. What I want to do, if I'm John Schwandt, is I want to open up on a hand that's like 3 creatures, 3 lands, and a negate or something. You just go like creature, 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 negate, whatever you have. You negate your day or something. And you're just so far ahead. The negate basically time walks your opponent. You have some time to draw into another negate or something.
Exactly.
I would definitely not have the surgical extractions on there after sideboarding.
Yeah, me neither. It seems like John Schwandt's living a little in fear of the Unburial Rites here. A card which there's only 2 of.
Yeah, and I don't think it's right for David to keep him in. Plus, if the game is to a state where you're getting on barrel rights, unless David has a nut draw, I think you should be winning from that position anyway.
Definitely. I mean, if the game's going long, you either should have already won, or Solar Flare's about to take out the game. It's about to take over the game.
I mean, I don't mind keeping in a couple of Oblivion Rings too. Like I think having 1 for Wormcoil Engine or something is important. But
Definitely.
I don't know how many John kept in, but I would definitely probably have a configuration of 2, maybe 3 Oblivion Rings at most, and the negates as my reactive cards, and the rest just to be aggressive.
Right. It's really important when sideboarding to think, what will my opening hand look like if I draw 2 of this card? 2 Oblivion Rings versus Solar Flare, really not a hand you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big issue for you. Granted, once again, you can peck away at their Oblivion Rings, but you don't really want to be doing that.
Right, and if they don't draw their, one of their 3 Oblivion Rings, it's not going to be that good.
Yeah, I mean, once again, having 1 for their, Wormcoil Engine or something is reasonable, but you just don't want to have 2. Because if you think about it, yeah, you can hit their Wormcoil Engine on turn 6 or whatever, but if that Oblivion Ring was just a creature, they might just be dead by that point anyway.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, maybe you want the 1 to deal with the first Wormcoil Engine. But.
Would you keep in 4 Angelic Destinies in this matchup? I'm sorry, he only has 3. Would you side in the 4th?
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think I would side in the 4th. I think I would probably only just keep in the 3. I think it's very good, but I don't think, once again, it's one of those cards you just really don't want to be overloaded on.
Right.
It is a good card, but you don't want to see an opening hand with 2. It's just going to slow you down too much. I could even see going down to 2 in some situations. Once again, it is kind of a slow card.
Definitely. I'm really excited to see the Geist of St. Traft come out to play in this matchup.
Yeah, that is huge.
That's a card that David Thomas is going to have a really tough time dealing with. Only Liliana of the Veil effectively answers it. That and Day of Judgment. So we'll see if John can draw one of those this game.
Yeah, Geist of St. Traft is absolutely brutal. That card, not easy to deal with.
Exciting card. People expected really big things from it when Innistrad came out, when it first got spoiled.
Yeah, I remember the first week in Indianapolis, it was seeing play everywhere.
Mm-hmm. It's sort of been ratcheted back a bit, but now people are finding the right home for it, the right shell for it. And it turns out it might be with Angelic Destiny, which is a scary combination.
Yeah, seriously, you go turn 3 Geist, turn 4 Destiny. It's just, how do you deal with that,
Turn 5, they're dead. Virtually no way to interact with that.
You can day it,
Day it, edict it, and that's about it. Chump block it.
Alright, looks like players have shuffled a little bit, grabbing their opening 7 cards.
David's still laid out on the table. He's going to wait to look at his hand.
I think that's a pretty solid move. That's that way you get all the reactions from your opponent, and you don't give away any information from what your hand is.
Right.
You want to see what your opponent's doing and how they deal with their hand. You can evaluate your hand with a fresh face while they're busy, hopefully shuffling on them all again.
And now we see John looking away.
All right, John ships his hand back this game, and as a beatdown deck, it's not what you really want to be doing here. You're going to need all your cards.
Definitely, especially to recover from any potential Day of Judgments. Now David looks at his hand.
Certainly not a snap keep.
Looks up at the ceiling.
I can see him counting some mana to himself, and yeah, he should have sent his back as well. Now, the more mulligans the players take, I think the more it favors David, but I still think on 6 and 6, John has the advantage.
Yeah, I think it's still pretty equal. Yeah, David has Think Twices and Forbidden Alchemies, but John will really be poised to take advantage of any stumbles that David makes, as we saw in Game 1.
Right. Although if David has Day of Judgment or something, that was easy to blow out a 5-card hand with. So it depends on the 5-card draws too.
It really is. Taking out half his resources or more with one card is really effective. John does not look happy. David looking stoic on the right there.
Yeah, I watched David play yesterday in his quarterfinal match, and he is extremely stoic, very, very solid in how he plays. He just plays at a regimented speed, knows his deck very well, very careful about how he taps his lands, very deliberate in all of his plays. I haven't really seen him too much before. I know he did well in Nashville. He made at least top 16 there, maybe top 8.
He did.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
He clearly knows his deck very well, just by the way he plays it.
Yeah, we'll look up, let's see how David Thomas did here. David Thomas at StarCityGames.com. Atlanta got 2nd place in Legacy with Dredge.
Oh.
4th place here, Solar Flare. 5th place, here we go, 8th place last week in Nashville. Yep, this with
Very
Solar
nice.
Flare again. So, no stranger to the archetype, knows how to play it well.
Definitely. He's continued success with it.
Potentially a Star City grinder in the making, heading around to run some of our events, making top 8.
Look out, Edgar Flores. So now
All
they're
right.
looking at their 6.
So
John keeps.
John keeps his 6. Doesn't look too happy about it, though. Although maybe that's just his face doing its thing.
Mhm.
David Thomas couldn't tell one or another. He's as stoic as a marble wall.
And he keeps as well.
All right, and here we go. Turn 1, Seachrome Coast from John Schwandt, but no play. Is that his only land, or does he have a Moorland Haunt in there?
I think there's one more in there. I can't tell what it
I think there's a
is.
Moorland Haunt. I think we drew another land either way. Seachrome Coast also for David Thomas. Ships the turn back. John Schwandt looks like Grand Abolisher.
Grand
Is
Abolisher.
it his play?
It
and
is.
that will abolish all instants on his turn from David Thomas.
An Elesh Norn drawn by David, so if he can get to that crucial 7 mana, that'll be very key for
Just
him.
go for the throw. Yeah, this game's going to be a race to 7. Elishnorn pretty much shuts off what John Schwandt's trying to do.
Almost every creature in his deck just destroys.
There's Geist of
Ooh.
Saint Traft. David has to have Liliana here, or I don't know. He's going to take so much damage.
Tick tock, says John Schwandt.
And Kaisha. 6, 12, 18. I mean, 3 hits from that guy will drop David Thomas to 2 life.
Yeah, and that's going to be really hard to recover from any creature at that point. Pretty much lethal. And another guy's drawn, so even if he deals with that one.
Oh, man, if he has Angelic Destiny here, I would just go for it.
And boom.
I'd say David tried board out even more mana leaks, and there it is. It resolves. That is the start we were talking about.
10.
Crunch. 10 you. You're dead next turn.
Good luck.
You have, and even if he has Day of Judgment, John can just go untap Geist and then Destiny next turn.
Oh,
All right, there's Forbidden Alchemy for David Thomas, trying to climb into something. He could try and maybe hit nuts with Unburial Rights, but I don't think he can get anything, right? His Elesh Norn is in his hand.
It is.
Does he have anything else he can rebuy? I don't think so. He can Phantasmal Image away the Geist if he hits the nuts with Unburial Rights.
That's a very good out. Or he could just draw the Phantasmal Image as well.
Right.
And
Looks like Oblivion Ring. That's another out to Angelic Destiny. Okay, that's fair.
Yep, he's eyeing Oblivion Ring and Dark Slick Shores here. So weighing the second black against the Oblivion Ring.
All right, takes the ring. I think wisely so.
Definitely.
And then you ring away the Destiny and you buy yourself one more turn.
David Thomas desperately searching here.
Finds a Tainted Chapel. That'll come into play untapped.
That's definitely a good draw for him because that makes all the Lilianas live.
That's the black source he was looking for too. And there's Despise, so we can get a little glimpse of what John's holding here. So he's Geist of Saint Draft and Hero Blade Hold.
Wow.
Scary twosome.
Very, very potent cards for John. Either one of them connecting will mean game over.
Oh man, this is hard. I think I would take the Geist.
I think so too. I think the only outs that David has to Geist are really Phantasmal Image.
And Liliana potentially
Liliana.
too. Where Hero, if he plays it later on, you can just Doomblade it or something.
Exactly. Snapcaster, Doomblade, something like that.
And Wrath is an out to both of them too. All right, so yeah, Oblivion Ring comes down. We'll snipe away that Angelic Destiny.
Puts it under the O-ring.
But that Geist is going to drop David down to 4 life this turn.
It will, and at 4 life, Moorland Haunt is really a threat too, so David is going to have to come up with a lot of answers very, very fast.
Yeah, if I were John, I would definitely not play that hero. I'd just pass and have Moorland Haunt at the ready.
100%.
Serving for 6 with that Geist of St. Treyas.
Scary card.
The Innistrad Legendary Spirit doing some work on David Thomas's life total.
I've had that one in limited too, and wow.
Oh, yeah, turn 3, Geist.
Yeah, backed up by a silent departure, that is usually good enough.
That is your opponent making a very silent but angry departure. Yep, David goes down to 4 life, and he is looking for an out right here.
Oh, Hero of Bladehold.
Oh, he does go for the hero. I think David's one of his main outs here, Wrath. I don't really like that hero.
But
And
that's
that's
not
it. Doesn't matter. John Schwandt takes it down.
Ends the hand. That is a very quick victory for John Schwandt. The 2 games he won were over blazingly fast.
You know, and I didn't see him reach for his sideboard again for the 3rd game, but I guess it didn't end up mattering.
No. So
now,
the finals.
He's going to head to the finals against Adam Boyd's Blue-White Blade deck. So 2 different speeds of decks. Blue-White Blade a little more controlling.
Yeah.
John Schwandt's much more aggressive.
Yeah, let's pull up the Blue-White Blade deck list here, see how